Okay, so what I did here was I called my phone from my iPad. So as you can see, that's the back of my head. This is right. This is left. And so that's how I'm going to part my hair. And I'll be watching the Olympics as I do it. Because let's be real, we're going to be here for a couple hours. Another thing is to make sure you mute both whatever devices you're calling on, or else you'll just get feedback. Alright, so boom, here we go. About to get started. About to show you how I braid my own hair. Getting ready to set up and parting. But first, gotta take a drink. Stay hydrated. It's gonna be a long day. Alright, so boom, here we go. For real this time. So, I sped this up, but as you can see, I am just using my phone and my iPad. So my phone is behind me like y'all saw on the setup, and I'm looking at my iPad to see the back of my head. And I'm just using that as a way to part. Recently they made these mirrors that you can put on the back of your door to part your hair, like when you're in the bathroom, but I like to watch TV when I do my hair. Well, TV or YouTube. I just like to be busy because my hair is thick and it's gonna take a while, and I need to be entertained or else I get bored and I just give up. But I really wanted to do braids this time, and I did not have the money to go out and find someone to do my braids, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it myself. How hard can it be? So I watched like 2-3 YouTube videos, and I was like, okay, I got this. I think that I watched enough to just go ahead and try it, and boom, here I am braiding my own hair, doing knotless braids, and it's going pretty good. Like we're moving. Look at this. Yeah, they look a little janky, but they're at the bottom and the parts are clean. Look at these parts. Oh my god, look at those parts. I do think this is definitely worth the hassle. These braids, this time, they took 3 days to do, but I recently did them again, and it only took literally 24 hours. And yes, I was braiding through the night because I made a plan to go hang out with my boyfriend's family, and I was like, shit, I gotta finish my hair. But yeah, I finished that so quickly now. I feel like I can do this, and especially since I have scalp issues, it's just more cost effective in the end. And since I know how to do it, I can just go in there and touch up the spots that I need to be touched up. Okay, so here we are. I just slowed it down so you can see how I'm braiding, even though my hand is in the way. But yeah, I'm braiding my normal hair. Just braiding it down, braiding, and braiding, and more braiding, and braiding, and braiding, and more braiding, and more braiding, and braiding, and braiding, and braiding, and more braiding, and braiding, and braiding, and more braiding. Damn, when am I gonna add the hair? What the heck? Okay, here we go. And then I just add a piece of hair. So the smaller the first piece is, the better for it to blend in. And obviously depending on the color, it's not gonna blend in, but it'll blend in size wise. And then you want to start with a very small piece, and then a slightly bigger piece, and then a slightly bigger piece, until you get to your desired length, and you just braid it in, you know. And then you just braid all the way down. I normally add 3 pieces of hair to a braid. Sometimes it makes sense to only add two, but you do whatever you want. And then you get down to the shaft, and then it's just normal braiding, you know? And then it's rinse and repeat. But yeah, this rat tail comb was a lifesaver. And so were those like duck clips. And here we go again. Making my box, splitting it in 3 strands, and now I'm braiding like normal. I really do think I have a talent for like braiding like the back of my head. Like, I heard other girls say it's hard, but like, I mean, yeah, it was kind of difficult, but like, I think this is definitely a talent that I have. I still can't cornrow my hair. I can do this. I can put in my own knotless box braids, but I can't cornrow. So, we all have our faults. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. Braiding, and then add the hair, and you get to the spot where you add more hair, and then you braid, and then you get to the spot where you add more hair, and then you braid all the way down. I do think the most important thing about doing your own hair is having a good show to watch. I feel like when your spirit is broken and you're about an inch away from a mental breakdown about your hair, a good show can really keep your spirits up, you know? It really gives you strength. Here's what the iPad view looks like. So when I'm sitting there looking at my iPad, this is what I see. You know, as you can see, these lines are looking very clean. They may not be even, but they are clean. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, density. But yeah, I'm just checking to see if the dimensions of the boxes are about the same, you know. Oh, now I'm watching Inuyasha instead of the Olympics. And, yeah, I really do like this method of using your like phone to like part your hair, and I do think not everyone has an iPad and not everyone has a mirror. Not everyone has an iPad and not everyone has a phone that they can do this with, but it's what I have and it's what works for me. And if you have these tools, and this is what I think you should use, you know, if you need the extra help. But like I said, there's a mirror that helps you part as well, but I cannot see. I wear glasses. My eyesight is very, very, very bad. And so, like, I can take the iPad and I can move it into my lap to see what I'm working with closer up. And so you can't really do that with a mirror. You can just move closer to the mirror, but then you're like blocking it. It's just, I just see better with my phone and my iPad doing it this way. So look at that. Braiding my box. Gotta pull it tight, but not so tight that it hurts. And braiding it down and braiding it down and more braiding and more braiding and more braiding. What I did do was I measured out my hair for each piece before I started braiding, or at least I tried to. It's just easier, so like when I'm doing like starting my box, I'm not stopping it to go pick out the hair and then like the box part gets loose, you know. I can just keep it really tight and keep moving at a steady pace. Because like what I found that when I'm doing this, rhythm is very important to me. Rhythm and consistency is important to me in like any facet of life, you know, some kind of rhythm. But in braiding, it really keeps me on track, because you know it's repetitive and you're doing the same thing over again. So it's like you do something different and you're like, oh, I forgot something, you know. But yeah. So the thing about doing your own box braids is the back may not look pretty, it may not look good, but like the front is what really matters. So like when someone else does your hair, you're expecting it all to look good, but when you do your own hair, you need to give yourself some sort of like leeway. Give yourself the space to like, hey, this is not perfect, or else you're gonna drive yourself crazy. Or at least will drive myself crazy about it being needing to be perfect. But if I tell myself, hey, no one's gonna look at this, if anything, you have parts, you know, that's the bare minimum. And sometimes you don't even need to do parts like this. Like if you can free part and it still look good, props to you, all the props to you. But this is the first time I was doing it, so I didn't know what I was doing in my head at all. And I normally do my own hair, but I've never done braids before, like knotless box braids before this. This is my first time, and these turned out amazing. Like this is definitely like my superpower that like I'll brag about. Like, yeah, I did knotless box braids for the first time by myself after watching only like 2-3 YouTube videos, and it looked great. Because these look great at the end. They look amazing, and they look so amazing that I did them again like 4 months later. Yeah. So like actually I'm recording this with box braids in, the ones that I did in like 24 hours. Although I will say this, I do not wash and braid my hair on the same day. I do not have the energy to wash and braid my hair the same day. Like, the second time around, I did do like the first row in the very back, like above my kitchen, but like that was too much and I was tired. So I just went to sleep after I washed it, you know? Adding that jam, shine and jam, edge control, yes, to really, grip the hair, make the parts look cute, grab all the hair in the braid. And you see, here's me remembering to get my hair ready before I start braiding. Oh, this is the episode with all the women in the village that got the little slug, frog, salamander demon inside them. This is the one that leads to Sango and Moroku getting together. Ah! Here I am braiding. Oh my god, my nails look so good. That's my natural nails, y'all. People tell me my nails look good all the time, but like, I just stare at them all the time. But I'm going through a little rough patch on my nails right now. I just went bowling recently and they broke. That broke my thumbnail. And I'm just reminiscing on how good my nails looked a couple months ago. But yeah, braiding, adding more hair. As you can see, I'm checking it and making sure it's tight, making sure there are no lumps. So like, I wanted to like make sure that these were going to last. Jokes from me, my eczema said no. But I mean, I made them last like 2 months. That's actually a lot longer than I thought it would. That's actually a lot longer than I thought they would last, but I don't know. The set that I have in right now making this voiceover, I don't think they're gonna last 2 months. It's just my eczema is really acting up right now, and I have it in my scalp as well as my arms and like my legs. But I'm just going through a flare up right now. You know how like when the weather changes and gets hot, it's like extreme heat and extreme dryness is when my skin gets really bad. So we just gotta work through it. But I'm so excited for y'all to see the outcome. Like, these look so good. And again, I'm just very proud of my first attempt, you know? I remember when I was in high school and I really wanted box braids. And my mom, she did my hair at the time. She was like one of 3 people who had their hands in my head. Like, I only had like my hairdresser who did my hair since I was like 6 and before I moved, and my grandma and my mom. And my aunt when I started going like doing natural hairstyles. So 4 people. And like when I moved down to Alabama, I was like, Mom, I want braids. I want like box braids like all the other girls. And she was like, okay, I'll try and do them. And it wasn't very successful. And I don't blame her at all for the braids sliding out in the middle of class. But yeah, I took them out when I got home because we didn't know how to make them stay. I guess because of the type of hair that we used was the wrong type of hair. But This attempt was definitely 1,000 times, 100 times more successful. But yeah, it's basically you do the whole process on your entire head, and then you have a head full of braids. Duh. But now I think there's a clip where I show you how I did the front. And I think I ended up going to the bathroom to do the front just because it was at a spot where it made sense to use a mirror. Like I could get up close and still see because it was like in front of my face. Here we are. I think this is the last braid, but yeah, I basically just used the mirror to do the front, like my hairline, so that way I could make sure that that was like perfect. But yeah, this is the last braid. Putting it in my head. And this is it. This is how I look. Look at me, so proud of myself. Still scrunching to see because I can't fucking see. But look at me feeling myself. I feel great. I know I look great. And I love my hair. Look at that. Look at that smile. Girl, you did the damn thing. Look at that. Ah! You look so good. And I will definitely be doing these braids another time. Although, I don't know how to keep my ends in my braids. Like, I don't know how to tuck. But I'm not really here for tucking. I'm just here for not doing my hair every day. And look how good I look!